To see, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
then
why
what's so funny is that like men will I don't know why men get mad whenever they're like, "Oh, women like if they don't find the man attractive, they'll call it, harassment." But then like they'll do the same thing and they'll be worse. They'll be abusive. If they don't find the
literally.
person attractive. But also, that's what harassment is, besties. If you weren't aware, harassment is unwanted. So if they don't want it because you're creepy and ugly, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
So we'll go through these messages. Again, this was his very first message to Molly. Hey, Molly. Oh, I wonder what your suspicious request is all about, since apparently I spoke to you in an aggressive tone by calling you a sick, twisted FUCK. So wouldn't that be a no-no? We have nothing in common apart from we're both aware of Irish. So you want to see what you can get on my profile? Well, okay, fair enough. But don't you think it's a little strange? Yeah, I enjoyed the banter back and forth with you, Molly, and thought we spoke well, to be honest, keeping me up there for 2 hours. But anyway, my intellectual foe, what have you got to say before I decide to let you pass or not? Why did you give Molly the option to pass or not, whereas with Stephanie you were just abusive?
Well, first of all, Irish, right? I've already apologised to Stephanie.
Why
Now we're
did
going
you
to
give Molly
no,
the choice
listen
to
to me.
pass or not?
Now listen to me, Irish, please. Right? First of all, I've apologised to Stephanie. That
I
point
didn't
out.
ask if you apologize. I
No,
asked you,
no,
why did
no,
you
no.
give
You're still using
Molly?
the point. No, listen to me. We've settled that now. Let's put
Why did
Stephanie
you,
in the bin.
I'm asking a very simple question. Why did you give Molly the choice to pass? Why did you give her that choice? Why did you want to give her that choice to connect
I
with
never
you?
wanted to give her anything. If she never requested me, I would never have requested her. That message only existed because she requested me. Had she
You're
not
not
requested me,
listening to my question, so I'll say it
Irish,
again. Why did
I'm
you
not giving you
give
the correct answer. You want to
Molly
hear?
the choice as to whether or not to connect with you?
Because she was on the actual live for
JR,
about
did you think
2 hours.
Molly was a spy?
Of course I did. I've said it there. Of course I did.
Okay, and
Without
you feared
I
that
said it
she
there,
would
black and white.
use. So you feared that if she'd access to your account, she'd be able to
Not
follow
fear.
you and find that
There's no
information,
fear.
correct?
There's no fear here, Irish.
Okay,
It's being
not fear, but your concern
no. There's
was,
no concern, Irish. There's no concern. Oh my God, I'm not here sweating. Oh my God, I don't
JR,
mind.
you're gonna get bananaed if you keep talking like that, okay? Just relax. You believed she was a spy, and as a spy, you believed that she was trying to follow your account in order to spy on you, correct?
I knew that her intentions was insincere and that she was only adding me, right, or requesting to follow me to get intel from my account to relay back to you.
Great.
And that's what it says there. Great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Great. So let
okay?
me ask you this
And
question.
the only
So let me
reason,
ask you this question. Let me ask you this question. If you know that her intent is bad faith,
yeah,
and you know that her intent is to try to either help me or hurt you,
yeah.
why would you accept her request and talk to her?
Because I still found her amusing and she made me laugh on that live that we were on for that 2 hours. She did actually amuse me. And on your live, if you relay it back, you'll hear me laughing on multiple occasions at some of the things she says. I did find her quite humorous, and I will admit that. I accept that. But I don't fancy her. I didn't
So
fancy
you
her. I
wanted to
swear.
get to know her better.
No, no, because I didn't even follow her. I would never even follow the Irish. I promise you now. And I only accepted it today. I only accepted their request today. That's only because the live wasn't going to go ahead. Had the live have gone ahead, I still wouldn't have accepted her. So I said to you on
Okay,
one of their messages,
JR, if you
yeah,
found her to be funny, but you also knew she was there in bad faith,
of course.
why did you speak so much to her in the comments?
Because she was messaging me back, yeah? And sometimes I'd have 2 or 3 messages before I'd even replied. And I've got the messages here to prove it. And
Okay.
sometimes,
Yeah. All right. We're going to go through the messages, JR. So, JR, you agree this is your first message, correct?
yes, correct. And I want to go on the green screen after you.
Nothing has been edited, correct?
After you, can I go on the green screen myself after you?
Sure. I mean, we'll have gone through all the messages by then, but sure. So then she responds, suspicious. I'm dead. Just keeping an eye on you and waiting to see more about Sunday. You respond with a essay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that would make perfect sense from your perspective, wouldn't it? To let an extra pair of spying eyes directly inside, strategically placed by Irish, for you to gather intel and then report straight back to him. Just
Yeah.
as I'm putting the final touches on my plans and recruiting more members to prepare for battle, might as well ask the cat to look after the pet budgie while I pop into the shops. Meow. Nah, maybe we'll wait just until the first showdown before I let you anywhere near me or mine, Moll. I spy with my little eye something beginning with M.
Yeah, and I wonder who
He
M
then
is.
responds saying, Irish didn't ask me to do shit. I love how you're referring to this as a battle. I admire your dedication. And then she said, oh, I love this game, meaning I spy. Are you referring to a mouse? Money? Do tell. Your response was, the door is shut. Please knock again after Sunday. And if the door opens, we will then get you processed through the reception and then show you to your room.
Motion
Stop
denied.
laughing. It's
Motion
extra
denied,
creepy.
it says. Motion denied.
Sure.
Read it properly.
Sure. I'm going to mute you while we go through this. Then you say to her, Molly, you have elegance, but it is concealed first by deception. You are the forbidden fruit, but I am not Adam. I respect your wit and extensive vocabulary because believe me, I do. But your gifted natural attributes are to be treated with caution. And check-ins for the Renaissance Suite are fully booked for now, but I will be back in touch when reservations are next available. So
Yeah,
now we continue.
I'm clearly saying to her that,
Can you
I
not
trust
tell me
her.
what you're clearly doing, and I'll just continue reading it, and people can decide for
Can you go
themselves?
back? Can you go, Irish? Can you go back?
No, we'll come back to it. You then said, if Irish is in on one of his accounts, it is only via the virtue of an exceptional technicality. Then you go on and rant about me, and
Its
then you
entirety. Read
say,
it out in its entirety, Irish. Read it out. Read it out in its
I'm not your pet. And then you say, you will get your pass. Just be a little bit more patient, as all good things come to those who wait. So then the next message you exchange, she then says, well, what do I get if I wait? And your response is, you get potential access, but you may also get what's in your mind. Look at something bright, then close your eyes for a second, thinking of the word ignite, spelt wrong. And if you see the flash, then maybe we can connect. It's fucking goofy. She then goes on and says, are you just telling Irish and Kenzie? And you then say, the world works in mysterious ways. What will be revealed at the right time. If you're good, misspelt again, if you're good and play your cards right, you can have that exact suite. But you will need to win the key. So then we continue, and you get even more weird.
Bro, you aren't a prize.
Yeah, right. And then you say, you want me to tell you how to win as well and place the key in your pocket? I'll give you a clue. The win is already within you. All you have to do is believe and feel the event. Then once you connect to the energy, I shall appear. She says, that's way too cryptic. Does it involve you running around the soft play and ball pit at the bowling alley? To which you then say, howling, girl, you had me creased up at times. I was doing my best to hold it in. Hold what in? Then you say, oh, we was flowing. Let's jump to that part.
laughter Irish, which I just said she made me laugh on the live. That's what
Sure
it's
thing.
referring to. And
Sure
access
thing.
to my account. She may get access to my account if she
Somebody
behaves
mute
herself.
JR. I don't have the ability to mute while I'm showing these. Then you say, we was flowing for hours. I also heard and felt that you was amusing yourself while enjoying the moment. That's a creepy fucking thing. I also heard and I felt, Molly, that you, Molly, were amusing yourself while enjoying the moment. You moved with motion. So then she says, go on, enlighten me. And then she says, even though you called me a twisted FUCK, and you respond, we simply exchange numbers and communicate to get things flowing. Your other message never came through. It's saying message hidden. And then you said, also, we could exchange Snap as well. Ha ha, messin'. I don't think I'll ever use it again now for real. That, to every woman reading this, they know that that's you, quote unquote. Can someone keep muting JR?
No, I'm not
Whoever the
talking.
mods are, I want you to keep muting JR every time he tries to talk. Every woman in here knows that that is a man chancing his arm to see what he's able to get away with and testing the waters. Let's continue. So then she says, "Oh my God, don't traumatize me with the Snapchat." And then he says, also, the plans for my debate strategy are worth way more than your socials. Also, I'm not after them. Liverpool is ready, is all I will say. Just know that. Which makes it sound like you're saying that her socials will lead to a visit with you to Liverpool. Frankly, is how I read it. She then says, "You just asked for my number in Snapchat, no?" And then you respond, "I said we can exchange numbers a digit for digit," which is you asking for her Snapchat. You then said, "So no, Snap was put forward." And then you said, "But I have Scouse birds around me. Girl, the sassiest and classiest in UK. What more would I need?" This is you now backpedaling, suggesting you didn't ask for her Snapchat, which is weird and goofy. You then say, "Scared," because she says, "Am I supposed to be scared?" And then you say, "Scared? What? Of a woman who will educate with relish and passion and will have opposing differences? So that's on you if you are." Then you said, "Also shout and rant. I was 90% laughing, love, and so was you." I love how you're telling her how she felt, but let's continue. The next parts are honestly just like, I'm just going to show them to show how many
This
messages.
just feels like phone sex.
This is number one.
Telling me.
This is number
Like
two. Wait. This is number three. She's not responding. This is number four. And then this is number five. This is number six. He just keeps going and going. This is number seven. This is number eight. This is number nine. This is number 10 of just like ranting. This is number 11. This is number 12. And we finally got something on 12. You're, again misspelled, you're not, in all honesty, what I would call a positive distraction. And then you talk about, I would say you would be a worthy opponent and valuable to any team you're on. Shouldn't ask for your evaluation of her worth. And then you said, "But do I still rate you, Molly?" Of course I do. And I hope one day we get the chance, if you can, just let things flow until we get to where we want to be on a live debate, which is you covering your bases by adding that and a heart afterwards. Fucking weirdo. This is another page of just rants and then another page of rants. So those were your messages. Now you would like to show them in a different way. So let's make you big screen. And you can now educate us on what you actually meant, because I'm sure this was all just a big misunderstanding.
Was
This
that
is so
not just
funny.
like incelic?
It was so
Phone
fucking
sex.
weird shit, I'm not gonna lie.
First
It
of all,
was. I was
there
like
never-
talking
there
to
was
Iris,
never
being like,
six or
"What's
seven-
going on here?"
There was never 6 or 7 messages in a row. You totally got that out of context. She was messaging me sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 times in a row. Then I would reply to her. Sometimes she would reply to me
Can
instantly.
you put your camera on?
So
Can like we see your face?
JR, JR, I'm gonna send you the invite to share your screen. You have to accept it. Are you ready?
Right, 1 second.
Everyone mute up for a moment because this part is complicated. And I know you all know this part's complicated. So I sent you the invite, and that invite is for you to share your screen. You won't be able to share your pictures unless you accept that invite. Oh, that's disappointing. Yep. That's
Damn
the
it.
well, why are you showing us this? This is, yeah, I know. Mac, with patience. So what is this? Is I already showed this. What's your point?
You've already got pictures of me, yeah? So you've already got pictures of me, and you can have as many as you want. Molly's got access to my account anyway. So she can take as many pictures as she wants and give them to you.
I'm
which
confused. What's the point of this? What's the point of this? We're not going to go over things we've already done.
Yeah, because you've missed quite a bit of it out, Irish, and I'm going to give it you in my way, in the context that I meant it. You've already said in the way that you think I meant it, but I'm the obviously author of the messages, and I can tell you how I meant it, okay? So first of all, that's the first message. As you quite, correctly stated, that's my first message. That is only because she requested me, yeah? And I never accepted her.
Stephanie requested you as well, right?
Pardon? Right,
Stephanie requested you as well, right?
You go back to listen. We've apologized to Steph, and you keep using Steph.
You're not listening. You're not listening. You said the only reason you sent this to Molly was because she requested, but Stephanie requested, and you didn't give her the option to follow. So it wasn't the only reason you sent this to her is because she requested.
Right. No, Irish. The only reason why I sent this to Molly is because yes, she requested, and we had spoke as well, yeah, for about 2 hours with you on your live, which you know about, right? When I was supposed to be on there for like 5 minutes, and I found it amusing. I found some of the things that she said amusing, and I was laughing at what she said.
You enjoyed her
because it amused me, Irish. Yeah.
You enjoyed her, is what you're saying.
Well, no, I didn't enjoy it. I just thought it was funny because I never asked her to be on the live. I was trying to speak to you, but she wouldn't let me speak to you. She kept putting it.
Do you not think that funny people are enjoyable?
Well, obviously, Irish sometimes they can be enjoyable, but
so you enjoyed her. I don't know where you're fighting this.
I found it. No, but I found it as well distracting and sometimes a bit frustrating because I wanted to speak to you.
Found her. So you found her enjoyable and distracting, and you wanted the opportunity to be in the future enjoy her and be distracted.
And some part she was distracting me. Of course she was, yeah, because she wouldn't let me speak. Yeah. So,
darling.
No, Irish, right? I never asked her to be on your live, and I never invited her up. I wasn't friends with her. I wasn't going to request her, okay? And I wasn't going to accept it until today, once I knew that our debate tomorrow had been derailed. Had that debate had been going on tomorrow, I still would not have accepted her. And if she never requested me, then these messages wouldn't even...
We don't care. Explain the messages in the way that you think should be explained.
Right, okay. So first of all, right, it says here, I'm going to read it out again, okay? Hey, Molly, I wonder what your suspicious request is all about, since apparently I spoke to you in an aggressive tone by calling you a sick, twisted F-U-C-K, which I did on your live, yeah? In jest for what she said about the C-A-S-I-N-O and being what looked like a 13-year-old birthday party, yeah?
Did you just say
that's what I call. Read the fucking message.
No, C-A-S, no, I-N-O, that's what I said, yeah?
Just read the message. Like, I already did this. Everyone remembers what I wrote. What is your point about this?
My point is that I know that she is there to spy, so I know what her intentions are.
Yeah,
so I'm fully aware.
So what's your next point?
Yeah, so my next point is that I know what I'm saying to her is going to go straight back to you, okay? Whatever I'm saying to you, it might not go back for the next hour or two.
What's your next point?
My next point is that I am then humouring her on the messages, okay? Because I know for a fact they're going to go back to you. Hence why I only accepted her today. Knowing full well that once I accept her, okay as well, that she is going to go... My next point is that what I have said to her is only in anticipation of knowing her game. Now I'm going to go on to the
So why would you bring up Snapchat? That seems like a stupid way to play the game. Don't you agree?
Because she said... I'll tell you why. I'll say it to you categorically why as well, and I'll say it honestly. Because on your live, when she was speaking to me, she was mocking me about Snapchat, yeah, for about half an hour, grilling me about it, yeah, saying that I can't believe you're nearly 40 years old and you've got Snapchat and you're at a 13-year-old birthday party. That's Snapchat and you're at a 13-year-old birthday party. That's what she was saying, yeah, but I was like a C-A-S-I-N-O. Right? So because she was mocking the Snap situation about it, I then said that to her, okay? Because even you said yourself, JR, what about these pictures then? How about I send you my Snap? Would that be good for you, JR? How about I send you my Snap? So you were both mocking me for Snap. So I'm just replaying it back to what you were saying to me. I was being sarcastic, Irish, yeah? I never sent her my Snap to say, oh, link me on it. And I never sent her my number. And I never asked her to request it either. So this is what I'm saying. So all the messages I know...
Your messages were boring and weird. Can we move on?
That you are going to read, okay? So let me go back to the second one, Irish.
Like, this shit is boring and weird.
Yeah, I'm not really understanding what you think. Like, I'm not really understanding what you think you're making better.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, Irish, is the messages that you've made them out that I'm actually trying to move in a sexual way, yeah, or
Was
spectral
this
way.
the JR who was obsessed with me in that one live?
No, I've never been obsessed with. I don't even know who you are.
Or was that a different person?
I don't remember.
Irish friend.
I'm
Don't
not
remember.
obsessed with you at all. No, definitely.
Because I remember someone being obsessed with me in the comments of a live that I wasn't even in, and then they like were obsessed with me. Like,
That rings a bell. I don't remember if it was him. I know what you're talking about
I'm
now.
pretty sure it was JR.
I do remember you actually bringing up that it was someone who you weren't expecting to be coming after you. I don't think you're crazy for thinking it was JR. I just don't remember, to be honest with you.
I'm pretty sure it was JR because it was another I don't know what he is, Irish, British, Scottish, I don't know. But it was another one of those people, and this would make sense.
Yeah, so what's your JR, what's the next clarification you think we need made?
JR, hello. Wake up, sleepyhead.
JR, you're muted.
JR, my darling.
I couldn't see I was muted because the screen's white and I never knew I was muted. But
Oh,
going back
poor
to Mark,
We'll figure
baby.
it out.
going back to Mark, okay, I've never spoke to you in my life and I've never messaged you or even commented to you on any live. So I don't even know who you are, okay? Especially with that name, Mark, who sounds like a woman. So I've
My
never.
name isn't Mark. Hold on, let me. My name isn't
What it
Mark,
says, what it
bestie. This
says
is
here.
an
Yeah,
inside
can you get
joke.
rid
My
of
main
get rid of
account is
Mark
Matt.
because
It
get rid
says
of
your
Mark
name is
because I
Mark.
associate that with that fucking arsehole who changed the name for you. Can we get rid of it? Because I keep on thinking of that arsehole. What's your
Fine,
next
I'll
point,
just come back on my
Bobby? What's your next point, JR?
Right. I want you, Irish, please, because I can't read it very well because it's quite small on my screen. I'm not lying to you. It is quite small on my screen, yeah? So I'd have to screenshot it and then zoom in. I want you to reread that message, please.
Okay, well, can I ask why?
Because once you finish reading it, and then I'll put it together in my way, exactly how I know I sent it, and I give it to you in the correct context. That's why, because you are distorting it for what it really means.
JR,
Okay,
Irish read this exact message.
It doesn't
yeah, I was
matter.
just
It
about
doesn't matter,
I
Mom.
was
Let me have
I
my
was
time
just
now, Molly. Molly,
hang on.
please, let me have my time now.
Hang on. I was just about to say that how many of these are we going to be going over?
14 different messages, please. 14.
Oh, for the love
Oh
of God!
boy.
All right, so this is the All right. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that would make perfect sense from your perspective, wouldn't it, to let an extra pair of spying eyes directly inside, strategically placed by Irish, for you to gather intel and then report straight back to him, just as I'm putting the choice final touches on my plans and recruiting more members to prepare for battle. Might as well ask the cat to look after the pet budgie while I pop to the shops. Meow. Nah, maybe we'll wait just until after the showdown before I let you anywhere near me or mine, Maul.
Yeah.
What's the
So,
clarification?
right, no, thank you for reading that out. I appreciate that, Irish. So, what that's saying, right? Yeah. So,
You
so
know
what
what it
that's saying,
says. What's the clarification?
the clarification
How did
is,
I
Irish,
misrepresent this?
right? Because what I'm saying, Irish, you've already said what you've said. Let me speak, please. I know that right, because what I'm saying, her intentions are insincere. Okay, so I know that whatever I say on these
Okay,
messages
we
are
got
going
it.
to go
What's the next
back to
point?
you.
We got it.
So I've
We
admitted
got
that.
that. Well, that's not. That's a simple point. We got it.
Right. Okay. So you
You're
don't need
saying
to
that
let me
your
say.
intent is insincere. What's your next point? Like I didn't say you didn't say that. Like you should only be bringing up
So how
things
could I?
that
How
hang
could
on,
I?
hang on. You should only be
What?
bringing up things that contradict what I said. So
What's
how did I
contradicting?
misrepresent what this said?
Because the whole theme of it is contradicted. Because you're making it out. I am sexually attracted and obsessed with Molly.
Did
JR,
I
calm
say that
down.
this
You're gonna get
screenshot?
bananas. Calm down.
Yeah,
No, I said the word
did I say
sexually.
that this screenshot showed schmexual attraction? Did I say that?
You said I am obsessed with Molly, or I'm making moves towards Molly. What was it you said again? That I find
I
her
don't.
attractive.
I no. So what you are only? I'm not going to allow you to do 14 screenshots unless you're telling me Irish suggested that this screenshot proved X.
You said
But
that I
I'm
was
going to
making some
now
sort of
clarify it.
sexual.
Well,
I
that's
was
what
making
I
some
said,
sort of
JR.
sexual
That's
content.
my assertion of what's going on here.
So you can clearly see here, Stephanie, that I know what she's up to. Okay,
Great.
and
I never said otherwise. So you're not
I'm
clarifying that.
refusing. and I'm refusing to have her on my profile at this point. Okay.
JR, can I just say something? I'm sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but
Go on.
the real issue here is the behavior towards two separate individuals who did the exact same thing. So it really doesn't matter like the messages themselves. The fact of the matter is that you treated two people very differently. Molly, who you also suspected was possibly spying on your account, you are having this lengthy, weird conversation with, and
There's nothing
like
weird about it. I'm mocking the
that's the
situation.
bad part.
No, I'm not. No. And then before as well, Irish, okay? She said that I blamed her for derailing it, yeah? That's what she said. Is that
You
correct?
did at the end, but this is like one of the first messages you sent me. The one you
No,
said that I was responsible for derailing it and the debate not going ahead, that was from either this morning or last night.
right. Irish, would you read that out for me, please?
Oh my
All right,
god.
Irish,
hang on.
be fair. Irish,
This
be
is
fair. I'm staying for the roasting, mate. Please continue with the
all
roasting.
right. I'll read it out, but I don't understand it. Sure, no, the mess up was miscommunication. Firstly, secondly, your interference definitely didn't help, and thirdly, Irish's changing of trajectory from the initial agreement then derailed it further. So it has nothing to do with misogyny, Mal. Because the truth is, I don't actually hate women, and I don't hate or dislike you. So you couldn't be any further from the truth by trying to label me a misogynist. It seems that you're only willing to use that word totally out of context because Irish is obsessed with it and uses it a lot, which is you infantilizing Molly. And it also seems that you're obsessed with him. I mean, it's just, hang on, that's projection. So, firstly, you're infantilizing her by saying that her opinions are based upon a man. You show no evidence of that. And then you accuse her of being obsessed when in actuality, I looked at the messages. You mentioned my name 4 times more than she mentions my name. You're muted. You mentioned the name Irish 4 times more than she does in those DMs.
Right, let me just put this here.
That sounds like you're obsessed with me, not that she's obsessed with me.
No,
He's taking full pleasure on rehashing this and asking you to read them. He's taking
no, I'm not.
full pleasure of this.
I'm
He
just
is.
with full pleasure. I'm laughing at the way it's being, construed in USO, whatever your name is, NSO. Sorry,
Darling, how can you take it any other way?
because I know for a fact what your game is, Mo. It clearly says it there. I'm not pursuing you. I'm not looking at you as
Babe,
as
you
a
asked
special
for my
object.
number. Like, let's just remember that, okay?
Well, so then what are we misconstruing about how you messaged me?
Right.
Yeah,
First of
Because
all,
exactly. Look at the comparison. You can't even deny that, JR.
right, Molly. Right. Okay. Let's put it in layman's terms then, just for everyone watching back at home. Did I request you?
No,
Yes or
to
no?
follow someone is
Yes or
not.
no?
When
Irish,
you,
Irish,
hang on,
quiet.
when you follow someone, that's not anything other than the fact that you want to follow that person. It's
No,
not an
Irish. But I
express,
knew what was going
listen to
on.
me.
I knew what
JR,
was going
you
on.
don't know about TikTok. I'm trying to educate you on TikTok. The reasons why people will follow someone are varied. Number one could be that they know that there's a debate coming up, so they want to keep an eye on your profile. Number two is you may be a scumbag who engages in dramatic behavior and they want to follow you so they can see when that like happens again. Number three could be because they find you entertaining. Number four, because they want to spy on you. There's multiple different reasons why people will follow you. You're assuming that when they follow you, that means that they like you or they want to
Oh,
talk to you or they want to engage with you or they care about any of that stuff. You're making all these
no, Irish.
assumptions.
I knew she didn't care for me or fancy me. Oh my God, I knew that. And I don't fancy her. I knew she was there
Why'd you ask for a
specifically.
Snapchat
Keep
then?
dreaming, JR. It was really
I knew
obvious
for a
that you
fact
fancied
that
me.
she
Just
was
keep
only
dreaming.
there to get intel and obviously to share it with you, which I've said on multiple occasions on their messages. Therefore, my response to her was nothing other than banter from what we have previously said to each other. She's on your team, not mine. She's on your team. She's on your live, not mine. And apparently she's been on yours for about a year. I asked
You
her
know
the other
who
day,
JR
how long?
sounds like? He sounds like from Wallace and Gromit. I don't know which one it is, but he sounds like,
That's
Wallace
actually
and
totally
Gromit.
valid. And I don't know which one it is either, but yeah, I totally get what you
You
mean.
know what I
JR,
mean?
so
Ernesto, what were you going to say, Ernesto?
get intel to what end, JR?
Right. First of all, Irish, read that as well, please. Read that message as well.
JR, get intel to what
JR,
end?
just answer Ernesto's question and I'll
Intel
happily
from
reread it.
me, obviously, from who I'm talking to in lives. So when she's friends with me, she can see who I'm talking to in lives, what I'm saying, and then go back to Irish
To
messages.
what end? What would be the purpose of that?
How would that help me?
Well, ask her. Well, ask her. She's the one that's requested me. I
You're
never
the
You're
one
the
that's
requested her.
one
making
who
this
assumed.
assumption. You're the one that's
You
making this
assume she's a
assumption.
spy.
Because obviously what was said between me and her will go back to Irish. And what's said on messages that we're saying will go back to Irish.
To what end? Why would she want to do that?
Well, she's doing it. We're reading the messages now, aren't we?
Why would she
No, these are
want to do
DMs,
that?
not your account. You assume she followed you in order to keep an eye on you. What would she report back that would have any utility to me?
Right. She would, no doubt, if she seen me in a live or heard me talking in a live about the debate that was going to happen tomorrow, because I did speak to a few people about it, but then took them off the debate, and then we got into a WhatsApp group instead to avoid that.
How
Yeah.
would you have a
Well, hear me out.
WhatsApp group set up for me?
I'm answering the question. I'm answering
I
the
understand. I
question.
just want to clarify. You have a WhatsApp group set up for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, not for you. Just so we don't have to discuss tactics on the actual TikTok. I've got a WhatsApp group that we've all made. Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah,
Wait,
for me because you moved it offline because you thought you were being spied upon.
Of course, there's people obviously that do report back to other people. It's TikTok, Irish. People do watch other people's lives, mate. Come
Trust
on.
me, nobody is worried about prepping me to debate you. I could debate you right now on any topic, and I would
It
cook
doesn't
you.
matter, Irish. It doesn't matter. I'm on about the
I think
actual
a sheep
example
could
of it.
debate him and still win.
Right? The
How
example.
about how about we hang on? You know what? How about this? Since you spent an entire month prepping for this really important event, and since you've been focused on only one topic, let's debate this topic right now. And let me just look. I don't know about Stephanie, and I don't know about Molly, but you get your choice of debating me, Mac, Brussels, Ernesto on this topic right now.
Well, first of all, let's just finish this off, please, Irish. Okay? Let's just finish this
Good
off.
lord.
Finish
Get over
off.
the
No,
messages.
you're only bored a bit because I'm giving you facts. Now,
They
you
are,
said,
babe. We're all
I'm
bored.
bored of it because
Okay.
you
right, Irish, just read this one message, mate. Last one.
Went over this
Sure, I
shit.
love the
JR,
phrase
I
that I
thought you wanted
destroy
to
everything.
debate.
Irish,
Who
just
gives a
read this.
fuck about your
1 second.
messages?
Irish,
Sure, she said I'm flattered, and then she said I'm glad you appreciate myself as the debate opponent. I'm sure I'll be talking to you tomorrow, and thanks for letting me in. You love me really. You respond, not destroys everything, X, but destroys anything that could be positively put forwards regard to moving towards a debate. I think you could save your fire for all the lives themselves and not in the initial.
It's
The fuck's the point of
negotiation.
it? Yeah, what's the point of this?
So there you go. So I'm not saying she just destroyed everything.
Okay, yay, yippee, you were right. Let's debate.
So my point is, and I'm going to say it point blank, okay?
What's the point?
I have no hidden agenda of any sexual attraction
You
towards.
asked her for her Snapchat.
Keep dreaming, JR. We know that you fancy
No.
me.
Listen,
Just
no,
keep
no,
dreaming.
Irish. It was mocking what she said to me the day before off the line.
Okay, I don't care if you want to claim that you did it as a joke. You factually asked for her Snapchat.
No, I never. No, I never asked
My
for it.
number.
I never said, give me your Snapchat. No, I never said that at all. Read the
Yeah, you
message.
did. And then you said
Read it.
digit
You
for
literally
digit.
did.
I never said to you, give me
JR,
your Snapchat.
everyone
No, I
knows
never
you're
said that.
lying. Pick
There-
who it is
No,
you
no,
want
I'm
to
not,
debate.
because it's on
Irish.
there.
You
It's on
said
black
to
and
get
white.
the
I've got it
key
here.
to
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
presidential
Can you
suite.
put the screenshot of my message
Yeah,
back
please.
on
Put it
the
back
Sure.
on, please,
thing?
Irish. Put it back on.
You said to get the key to the presidential suite that you were going to check
I
me
said I'm going to
into
take you to a
is
presidential
no,
suite.
JR. Have I finished? No. That I basically had to give you my number, and I don't think that we've really looked at the difference between the way you speak to me and the way you speak to Steph.
I have never said, give me your number. And I've never said,
Did
or
you
even.
just listen to what I said? I don't think you
Okay,
did.
I have never said, give me your number. And I've never said,
Did
or
you
even.
just listen to what I said? I don't think you
Okay,
did.
so hang on, just to bring people up to speed, okay? We want to go back to Stephanie right now. We want because the disparate treatment of Molly versus we want to go back to Stephanie right now because the disparate treatment of Molly versus Stephanie was what was actually problematic. Stephanie asked me to put this up. Stephanie, what is it you want to share?
Because some people are just asking, like, like, what's the point of these messages? And I just want to remind people the point is that this is how he spoke to me, and then that's how he spoke to Molly.
Yeah,
Neither of
two
them are
people.
right. Both of them are wrong. However, one was directly, like, bullying somebody for no reason, for just following him. And Molly got 14 pages of messages, which Molly
Oh,
did
Molly
not
got a lot
deserve
more than
14
14
pages of those
pages.
messages. Yeah, she did not want 14
Yeah.
pages of
I think it was
messages.
over 20.
Yeah, the point is that two women requested, and in one case he was abusive, and the other case he asked to exchange Snapchat. So, Jr. Next point: who is it you want to debate? Choose your enemy.
No, first of all, Irish, let me. No, you can't leave like that at all because you're wrong on everything you've just said. First of all,
I can literally leave it like that.
So annoying.
Oh no, I feel like he should like debate because he's been prepping
He's
for
not
this
trying
for a
to
month,
debate
and I want
though.
to see him embarrass himself.
He's not trying to debate. He wants to
Yeah,
finish this.
exactly. And he's got to be put on a timeout to learn that like he doesn't get to control my live. And
Oh
like
yeah.
man, and Jr. If you want to go live right now on your new platform and explain whatever it is you want, you're allowed to do that. So go do that. Get that out of your system. But I'm not going to let you do it on my platform. It's just that simple. Like it's a waste of time. Like we went over 3, 4 more screenshots, and you didn't clarify anything. It was annoying. And the people who have joined after the fact, we were pointing out the fact, and I know this is a bit insulting for me to be bringing it up because I know that women probably experience it all the time. But I got to admit, it was a little eye opening to me. I know it happens, but I don't really get to see it all that much. Was just how JR treated women differently based upon which women he could extract value from and which women he decided he could not extract value from. It was just a little weird, and clearly like fucked up. And just had never seen that before, so we looked at that for a bit. Anyway, JR, go do your messages on your platform, and then if you want to come back and debate, come back and debate.
Maybe vent to your WhatsApp group and then come back.
Yeah, also, someone messaged me while we were live, and I don't recall in what chat group it was. And actually, I think it may have been Grace. And whoever messaged me saying this person keeps popping in and out of the live, yeah, that's on the block list. So I hope you guys know. The answer is no. But I hope you know, just block that person straight away. You don't have to ask me on that one. Just block them straight away.
He wants to debate.
So he's saying he's going to debate. So let's bring him on up. So JR, who is it you want to debate? You have to identify who you
I
want to
want
debate.
to debate you.
All right. All right. I'm going to drop everyone else down. Am I allowed to keep Mac up
No,
here?
no, Irish. You're not allowed to keep anyone. Drop them all down. It's me and you. Let's go. Drop up now.
Okay. All right.
Drop.
Sorry, guys. We'll be back. Mac, don't
Both.
hate me. All right.
Now, Irish, before we go into this debate, right, mate? Yeah, I've got no one with me. I don't need anyone with me. Yeah. Now, I did, believe it or not, get it all ready for tomorrow. So I'd like to, after this debate on yours, at some point, not tomorrow now, but next week, if you don't mind, yeah, take it to mine for a part 2. Is that okay with you? Would you agree to that?
You didn't even get me the tree topic. So let's just have this debate and see how it goes. Let's see how good and how prepped you are for this debate. So, given the fact that you have the affirmative on this, the burden of proof is on you. So, you have to prove that false allegations regularly ruin men's lives. Go.
Right. First of all, the reason why I believe and the reason why I've looked into about why, okay, false allegations ruin men's lives, okay, yeah, is because, first of all, people in the community can be very one-sided with their thinking and won't look at the facts of the allegation, okay, whether it's true or false. Also, a man's or a woman's,
Wait, stop. That's not an argument.
it's not an argument. What I'm
You
saying
just
there,
said people won't look into both sides. That's not an argument. What's the argument there?
what I'm saying is that about the allegations in general. Okay, when people are falsely accused, yeah, that he didn't do it, it's false. The accusation's false, as it quite rightly says there. It can ruin people's lives because it has what you call
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Can you read the topic? Read it out loud.
false allegations alone rarely ruin men's lives.
Right. So does it say false allegations alone can never ruin lives? Does it say that? Just yes or no?
It doesn't say that, no.
Okay, so you agree that the topic prompt allows for the possibility that false allegations can ruin some lives, correct?
Well, of course it can. Of course it can.
Okay, well, you just made the argument, and I'm trying to point out that what you just said, that a false allegation can ruin a man's life, that possibility is not part of the argument. The argument is the frequency and the degree to which they're harmed. That's where the argument is. So I'm not denying that it could. That's stating that it's possible. I'm stating whether it regularly happens.
Well, you'd have to
That's
look on
what the
stats.
rarely terms means.
Well, basically, Irish, I've got some stats somewhere, which I'm trying to find now. If you just bear with me, yeah? Okay.
I doubt it, but go on.
Okay, let me just get this up.
I can understand at your age, it's a little harder to get it up, so take your time. This is invigorating. You're doing a great job so far. I give you 10 out of 10. Very entertaining, compelling argument.
For some reason, I can't access into it at the moment. It's saying format not supported. I don't know why. It's just saying format not supported. So let me try another way.
Did you not commit any of your arguments to memory?
Wi-Fi's down. I think because the Wi-Fi is down, it's not
I
connecting
said,
properly.
did you not commit any of your arguments to memory?
Not all of them, Irish, no. But what I'm saying
Okay,
to you is,
do you have any of them?
I had mods
Do
that had
you
all
have
the
any
stats
of
there
them?
ready. I had mods that had the stats there ready, okay, yeah, on my live, which would have been put together properly with the mods that had the stats there ready to obviously come into the live and clarify them stats. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're not able to debate, correct?
Not on these stats right now, no, because that's what I wanted to do it on my live tomorrow, Irish, when it was all ready. That's what I wanted to do. We've actually been diverted, haven't we? But I'm on here now, still saying what I'm saying, that it can destroy men's
Okay, that's
lives.
not the debate. Whether or not it can is not the debate.
Well, please give me an example in Irish why you're saying what you're saying. That false allegations alone rarely ruin men's lives. Give me the debate on that, mate. Give me the actual point on that, please, from your perspective.
Sure. So I believe that socially, there's a false narrative that false allegations regularly happen and that the harm associated with false allegations is amplified and exaggerated. I think that men lie in this false narrative by suggesting that the percentage of all allegations that are false is higher than it actually is. I think that men lie in regards to suggesting that a higher percentage of men are negatively affected by false allegations. And I think that men lie by claiming that a larger percentage than it actually is of men have their lives ruined. I think that this is a form of catastrophization where men want to pretend that the worst case scenario is the ordinary or regular scenario. And I think they do that because they're centering themselves on an issue that predominantly affects women. And by them centering themselves, they're taking away the focus with regard to this issue away from the people who deserve the focus, which is not the quote unquote victims of false allegations, but the victims of rape. That would be the argument. Now, since you have the positive, the affirmative, if you did your research on debates, you have the affirmative. Your affirmative is that false allegations do regularly destroy men's lives. The burden of proof is on you to establish that.
Yeah, okay,
So
Irish.
prove it.
Some of my stats there that are with my mods, believe it or not, okay, are recorded stats from databases which they have got, okay. And I
Great.
promise you
What do
that.
those stats show?
I haven't got these stats here at the moment. They've got them stats. I promise you they have. They have got them stats, and they had them for a valid reason because they
So
wouldn't
then
come on.
again, you're not prepared to debate this topic, correct?
I am prepared, Irish, but on my format. It was going to be on my format, okay, on my live with my people, and we would have been ready. Obviously, I wasn't expecting it to do
Okay, so
today.
you're not prepared right now to debate this topic,
Not right,
correct?
right this second, Irish. No, probably not right this second. No,
Okay, you
no,
had 1 full month to prepare, correct?
no, Irish. I was getting the account ready, and I wasn't actually focused on every single possibility. I was focused on getting that account ready to speak about this with you on my live tomorrow.
Did you have 1 full month to prepare for the debate? Yes or no?
Probably just about 3.5, maybe
Okay.
4 weeks to get this.
And your response is that your dog ate your homework, so you're not able to have the actual debate.
Not at all, Irish. My mods have got the stats, mate. That's what they've got there, okay? So what I'm saying
Okay,
to you now,
it's called the internet, right? So if you're talking to me, that means your internet is working, and you should be able to address what we're talking about right now. You should be able to access it.
right, well, all the stats are put away, Irish, for tomorrow. That's what I was going to
Put
do.
away
Because
where? In a locker? Like they're online.
no, they've got the stats, Irish. They have got the stats, I promise you. They have got the
They're
stats.
on a WhatsApp group, correct?
And then, yes, we are. And it's being
Open
discussed
up the
in the group.
WhatsApp group.
Well,
Open up the WhatsApp.
That's why I said, Irish, we could go tomorrow on my live, and every stat we had would have been revealed on the big screen as well, on the green screen. So I wouldn't have just been saying it; it would have been put up there for everyone to see. Otherwise, it
All
wouldn't
right.
have been.
So given the fact that you do not appear to be prepared again, I'm going to drop you and I'm going to again say I'm not going to go to your platform to debate my prompt. If you want to debate this issue tomorrow at 8 p.m., I expect you to show up here promptly at 8 p.m. and you and I can have a one-on-one discussion where I'm not going to mute you. I'm not going to have other people mute you. I'll allow you to bring up whoever it is you want and we can debate the issue then.
That's fair enough. Yeah, deal. I'll speak to them and I'll bring them over with me on your platform.
Thank you, JR. What's up, Ken?
AR again.
Yeah, he created a Donald. I think he created, for people asking why he created a Donald Trump background, those are easy accounts to be able to build. When I'm on account 33 at this point. When we got into our like 15, 16th account, we started realizing that a lot of the accounts that are easiest to build, and sorry for some people in the requests. I'm just going to limit the folk who are coming up for now. We realized that the easiest way to build accounts was when you had a Donald Trump account. But we abandoned that when we just realized the people who we were attracting were just like not people we wanted. But it is very easy to gain a following when you have a Donald Trump thing on your account. Oh, before anyone does say anything, I do want to say this very, very quickly. For people who are confused about why Molly was sharing those screenshots, you all just don't know what's going on in the background. So Stephanie impromptu today informed me of what JR had done. And so from your perspective, you all thought maybe that this live was going to be talking about Stephanie. That was actually impromptu. Molly and I had been talking for the past couple of days, and we were going to be showing all those screenshots. So for people who didn't understand, Molly and her interactions with JR were going to be the main part of the live. And it was more so that Stephanie just sort of like dropped that information in my lap before we went live. So for people who are a little confused why we flipped over to the Molly stuff, in actuality, we kind of flipped over to the Stephanie stuff. That was the add-on, even though from your perspective it would have been different because you all wouldn't have known that I've been talking to Molly about this for the past couple of days. Anyway, but yeah, JR, I don't know what to do with these guys. Like, it's fucking weird energy. Like, I just don't understand this obsessive mentality of I don't know what he's trying to prove. I don't really get it. It's kind of weird. Ernesto, Mac, what do you think? And yeah, Mac, I will as soon as we end.
Okay. I mean, JR's just listen, at the end of the day, JR is just another incel who loves Donald Trump, who is mean and says mean things and likes to harass pretty, I guess, like people he finds pretty. And he likes to be rude to those who he doesn't value. And so he's kind of just annoying. I don't know. He can't debate either, so he's even more annoying because he can't even debate.
That was sad. That was a sad taster for tomorrow. Like, that was really pathetic.
I'll have to
No, it was really pathetic.
I'll have to confer with my crack team that I've formulated and put together on a WhatsApp group to kind of determine
Oh my
what
gosh.
his why he was the way that he was.
I it's wild to me. I've never the unique things, him being infatuated, not unique, right? Him feeling like I'm now his arch nemesis, not unique. It's more so this idea that he thinks he's being spied on, and that there's going to be intelligence found that will help me in the debate. It's almost like he's afraid we're going to steal his homework. That's the weird part. I've never encountered that before. Like, he's literally
Yeah.
afraid that we will see what his strategies or talking points are. Whereas he's been in my live every couple of days watching me debate. Like, he's watched all my debates on this.
To
He's
be
really he's oh sorry, Matt, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just gonna really quickly say I don't know why we keep spending time like trying to bring him up to debate because maybe it's Irish wanting to dick measure. I don't know, but I'm just bored of him. I've been bored of him.
He's just really like high strung, like really in your face.
Yeah, he's gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah,
like
literally that. Like I don't even like he's always amplified and excited when he talks. It's really, really weird.
your makeup looks good, Ken.
Thank you.
The makeup's always fire, to be fair. I do think, yeah, look, the reason why for me is why I bring him up occasionally is, and I know a lot of people are bored of him, I do understand it. Part of it is amusement. Also, part of it, I think, is, I don't know, a wee bit of like nationalistic hatred towards Englishmen. And so I do think that's I have a soft spot for mocking.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. Because I was wondering why we continue to like care about him. Because I feel like he's on your live quite a bit, and I was confused because he's not a good debater. He's annoying.
he's not.
He can't even chill for a second and let another person talk. Like to me, he's someone that I would have just dropped and moved on from a while ago. But that makes sense now. Now I get it. He's
I also
English.
think I also think it's a good strategy with somebody like JR to spend as much, not, I don't know about this much time, but as much time as Irish has, because people who also want to go at Irish will probably reach out to him, and that would just be a pain for them. Trying to collab with JR would be, it's just, I think that's torturing them, which I think it's funny as well.
Like who are his people? Like he has a crew. Like he has
WhatsApp group,
his
yeah.
people. What is that?
He doesn't have a WhatsApp group.
He did say that he wanted to debate Irish on his own, but now has a group of mods that's going to provide him with stats.
Sounds
Yeah,
like he's just getting people to do his homework for him.
I mean, he did have people, if you remember. It's just that we turned them all against him. Like, that's the thing I find most amusing is what people does he have left is the thing that I'm most curious about. Like, I really want to see, will he have a set of mods tomorrow? I really want to see, will he be joining and have a number of people who will be supporting him? Like, if if he does, then tomorrow would be entertaining.
I'm gonna be interested to see how that goes.
The only WhatsApp he's a part of might potentially be the one that had like the 70,000 weirdos in it. That's like it. He doesn't have an army.
So it's funny that you view him as an ordinary incel and stuff. I don't know if this is necessarily accurate, but I do think there's some cultural differences in play. I don't view him as being very dissimilar from just most Englishmen. I don't view him as an incel. I don't view him as a rapist. Ordinarily, you hear me say that stuff about a large number of people who I would debate. He, to me, is actually, I don't know what it is. I almost feel like this may seem weird, but I almost feel like people in America feel more evil to me. I don't know how to express that in the sense that I feel like there's benign bigotry and more like benign harm that's done in other countries, whereas in America it feels more overt, which is why, like in America, I'm pretty quick to like say if someone's grapey or if someone's an incel because I think there's actual malice. Whereas JR, like I don't think he believes he's acting. I don't think he wants to hurt anyone. I think he's just fucking clueless. And that's what I mean by like benign bigotry, benign's not the right word because that seems harmless. That's not what I meant. Not benign. What's the word I'm looking for? Um,
Yeah, it just
I
might
don't.
be
Lack of malice. Lack of malice. I don't think he has malice. I think he's literally an idiot. Like literally an idiot. Whereas some men that I encounter, that American men, and I don't know if this is a bias for me, but I feel like they have actual malice and evil. Yeah, he feels clueless. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but
And I
he
think most women
believes that
that
he's
engage.
not. That's the weird thing is he truly believes that he is at the level of being able to really to debate this.
Well, that's the insecurity part. Like, I will say that his insecurity is higher than average for an Englishman.
You know what he
But the other,
reminds me of?
who's that?
He reminds me of your Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond does have a wee bit of audacity to him. He does think he's better than what he
Like,
is.
I have Richmond, you have JR. They're both annoying. We don't bring them up for like anything other than entertainment when the live gets boring. And they just are annoying. Like, I don't know how else to describe it, but
Yeah, and people are like, why waste time on him, all that? Like, I feel like, again, a lot of people don't understand what it's like being a creator. Is that if I had debate ops up here, I would be debating debate ops. But, like, I don't think people understand that, like, I don't want to call this a show because that is really demeaning to what I hope we normally achieve in a lot of these lives, but you have to keep it entertaining. And so to me, I view him as sort of the filler. I kind of view him as the entertainment during the intermission during a Broadway play. Like you're not
right.
going there for that reason, but he's just filler while we wait for something more interesting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand like what it's like to be on the other side of like, you know, being a viewer.
Wait, do
So,
you? But do you actively put effort into being entertaining, Mac?
no, I just naturally am.
I hate you so much.
No, but like, yeah, no. I mean, I feel like no matter how much we talk about like what it's like to be the like host or like co-host, it's still gonna be there's still gonna be like a disconnect between like until someone actually like does it and starts to understand like what all goes into it. There's always gonna be a disconnect because they're never going to like know if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I do feel like for me, if when they don't understand it, I don't think they understand why you can be hypersensitive to criticism as a creator because you're constantly getting criticism. But then the other part of it is I have anxiety. Like, you're able to leave the live for like 15 minutes and say, Irish, manage this. But if I'm not fully tuned in when I'm hosting, I have a panic attack that the live is going to be boring. Like I genuinely have a panic attack that the live is going to be boring and I'm going to be failing people watching. And I hate it. It freaks me the fuck out. Like that's
You
often the
mean
reason.
like criticism as in the lives going to not be entertaining or as in like
Oh,
personal
that's
criticisms?
personal criticism. Sorry, that was a bad conflation. It made it sound like I was talking about the same thing. No, two different points. Sorry about that.
I kind of want to hear your like how do you feel about like getting personal criticisms from people who does it like stress you out or like what? Because I feel like Irish and I, it's stressful, but I don't know.
So it just depends on a few different factors for me. It would depend on kind of who it's coming from. And it's also going to depend on like the setting that they give it to me. This is just me personally. Like if I was to do something and someone calls me in on a live and it's just a simple correction, I can take that no problem. But if it's like, say I was running a topic that was just really inappropriate and really harmful, and someone was to call me in public on the live, I would take it, but it'd be really difficult for me. Versus like privately doing it, I would just be like a little bit more receptive right off the bat. I think it's just setting it and who it's coming from. But as I've gotten older, I do take criticism a lot better.
I,
Well,
I
that's good.
do.
Did
I
that
do
answer
make.
your question?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I do
because I think that
maintain.
that's valid. Like, Irish, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, you brought up a good point with like the setting thing. Like, um, yeah, that matters for me a lot. Like, if you just are gonna, like, I cannot take criticism from people who, I guess, aren't like gonna give it to me in a sensitive way. I just can't do it. Like, and I don't think I'll ever be able to. So I don't think people really like to give me criticism because I think sometimes people don't want to be sensitive and then like they're just like, well, I'd rather just not give it to her
I also try to be
because
really like I
I
try to be really sensitive with other like women and femmes. So like for example, Mac, if like me and you were on a live and you were to say something, I probably would not correct you in the moment. It people might agree or disagree with that, but I would like but I would like say I would like reach out to you privately and be like, hey, like, and I would just be like really sensitive, and that's what I do. Like I don't unless it's like a big deal, I don't generally call like in my friendlies publicly unless I mean, unless it's something small, like don't say that. That's rude. Like if someone's making fun of someone's appearance or something, like I'll say that. But like as far as like if you said something that was like harmful or hurtful, I would just like wait until we were like in private. That's just how I do it.
I also think when where the criticism is coming from can sit differently as well.
Yeah.
Um, uh, Again, if you're just a fervent viewer trying to criticize how a host hosts,
Hmm.
it's hard to kind of listen to that when they've not been on the end of the host that has to manage live or has somebody help manage live or something like that.
Hmm.
And especially if it is about hosting, if it is about a prompt, if it is about how you handle a guest. I think that also, depending on how that comes off, because it could come off just wrong sometimes. It come off wrong, and they don't understand that. You hear it a lot with a lot of content creators. You see it on a lot of, especially larger creators. You hear a lot of people say, "Oh, just brush it off, just let it go. Why are you even bothering responding? Why are you doing this?" Without realizing that there is usually a method and a reason why a creator responds to certain messages and they don't.
Right. And I also
yeah.
think it's important, like when Mac, like you were talking about setting, like I would not be on a live with you and have you say something and then correct you in front of like an op and a man in a setting that like would put you like in a vulnerable place too. So I do take stuff like that into consideration when it comes to like my friendlies, and my mutuals that like I panel with and stuff. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
mhm.
Ernesto, like with the criticism about like how to run the live and like how so to me that is criticism that if you're not a host and you're not like close to the host like if you're not a co-host who's close to the host if you're not like a host of your own live like that's just not something that I personally would want to hear from like viewers who don't host, because again, like they wouldn't understand like what hosting is like. So
Can I say
yeah.
that? Can I validate that, but say it in a slightly different way?
Yep.
Most people and people in the comments, I'm very open to feedback and shit. But realistically, most people in the comments don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like realistically, like I'm just gonna like,
Why?
but that is the truth. Like I'm gonna be so fucking for real for a moment. Is that what Mac is talking about? Is that it is irritating. Now I'm open to it because sometimes you get good nuggets, right? Amy, I'm being fucking for real. I'm sorry. But 80% of the criticisms that you get in or directions you get, for everything you see someone say in the comments, you have someone else say the exact opposite. And that's the problem, is that when people say something from the comments, let me be super clear, people are doing it in good faith because they're viewing the live and they're like, I think that this live would be better by doing X, Y, or Z, or I believe that this shouldn't have been done. And that's fine for you to have that belief. But then that belief becomes rigid and you think that that's the way it should be. And the truth is that for all of you who say X, there's a whole bunch of you who say Y. And you don't recognize that there is no objectively right way to do it. The other part of it is that the criticism or feedback you may give, we're aware of. We know we fucked up. We know that we missed up an opportunity, or we know we may not have been perfect. But when you're in the comments and you're not on display all day long, you don't know how easy it is to regularly fuck up. I could point to something that everyone on this panel right now has done wrong in the past 24 hours. Literally every single person on this panel right now. I can point to something that everyone has done wrong. And so it's easy to point out little things that people have done wrong or that may be harmful. And the truth is that we usually know when we fuck up, usually. And I do encourage people to still give me feedback because, like, I don't really personalize it all that much, but it can be really fucking irritating when you see someone say the same thing 8 times, like you didn't see it the first time, because they're so certain they know the right way to do it. And it's like, if you knew the right way to do it, you would be hosting. Like, it's not easy to do it. I think it really looks really easy to be a host because you're just fucking talking. No, you're managing 1,000 different expectations and navigating your way across a minefield. And it's really high anxiety and it is high stakes because you're trying to do something good, but you can fuck up a lot. And so, I think like that's where like I know where max sensitivity comes from when people in the comments have criticism. It's because 80% of the time the criticism is just either obvious and it's like, why beat a dead horse? Like we know we fucked up. Or your criticism is something that someone else would contradict and it's not objectively the right thing to do. Whereas people will often think they're 100% correct. And I'm sorry if that's coming up as rude, but until you're a creator, you just don't know the 1,000 different competing interests you have to manage. Like part of the reason people listen to me, I think, on some of my lives is because I try to keep my lives entertaining. But part of the criticism I've gotten is, why are you making grape lives entertaining? That's a valid criticism. I don't disagree with that. But it's like it's kind of rude, or what's the word? It's kind of for you to assume that I haven't already thought about that. For you to assume that that's not something I've struggled with is sort of like thinking not very much of me, if that makes sense.
Um, well,
RBG,
also
you're in the
like
comments. We don't care if you totally disagree. Don't make me mute you and cancel you.
Also, like, that's crazy. So I don't know if you guys are aware or have been aware, but like, for some reason, people really hate Irish and I. That's both people on the left and also like opposition. And so we already get like enough bullshit. So it's just like, to be so honest, like at the end of a live, the last thing I want to do is come back to like live chat, gen chat, messages, whatever, and see like criticisms of how they didn't, or like people didn't like how a specific topic was handled, how like a guest was handled, how the live, like, you know, whatever. So
I think that
Yeah.
I think that's totally fair and valid. I think that, you know, if it's in there and their messages, they'll be there in a day or two once you kind of recollect, but you have done so much emotional labor, that there's really nothing left in your cup. You have to refill to be able to take that in. Like I will also, Cheeto, stop it. I also wouldn't be able to, after like, you know, a 3-4 hour live or whatever, talking to a bunch of incels and grapey men, be able to take like a criticism in because I had, you know, misstepped, or made a mistake or handled a topic, you know, insensitively or something.
yeah, and also like I want people to remember we talk about grape culture for hours. It's not like we're talking about like fucking, you know, tariffs and Donald Trump. Like, who really gaffs about that? You know, at the end, like, obviously people care, but like, it's not going to have a personal, like, weight on your heart to talk about taxes and tariffs. Yeah. Like, we talk about something that is arguably one of the most, like, heavy topics on TikTok. And so it's like, it's a very heavy thing to talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, days and days and days. And
Yeah.
so it's like there's really not a lot left for criticism at the end of the day.
No, I agree. I think that as a woman too, doing it is even, there's more of a toll, I would argue, on you than there would be like maybe on Irish.
Well, yeah, because Irish doesn't get the grape threats. Irish gets the occasional unaliving threat. But no, what I don't think I've ever, I mean, he does from like, there are some times where he does. But I don't see that really happen to like other men who talk about this topic. I think it's just because Irish really like demasculates them. And so they have to feel emasculated through like saying that they're going to grape him. But oh my gosh, Irish, stop. But no, like for the most part, I'm the one who gets those threats.
Irish.
And like
Irish gets the
Irish gets other threats.
Say that in my face.
But
that's what Irish gets. Irish gets.
See, that you bring up a really interesting point. I don't want to derail from what you were saying, Mac, but you bring up an interesting point that even Irish occasionally will get the grape threat in the sense that these men want to feel powerful, and that's I think what a lot of people don't remember or talk enough about is why a lot about like where the act of grape is like coming from a man towards a woman, and it's coming from power and it's coming from dominance, and I think that those are important to remember, and that's why like Irish would get the occasional grape threat because they just want to feel powerful and dominant over people.
I would actually say that's not what my experience has been, but I think I have a related experience. I don't have many men threaten to grape me. What I often have is, in addition to like other things they do, I will often have men come to me and say that they're going to do something in Mac. And that's like more interesting to me is that they view the women around me as like a bargaining tool and that threatening them. So like there's something there. I don't know how to talk on it, but I have noticed that that's one of the ways, because they'll try to like attack me, but like they can't. So the first most dominant thing is I'll beat you up, right? That's the first thing they'll do.
Yeah.
And once that's not effective, they will try to emasculate me, but they're just not good at it. Then they will, and you know, I don't share all this stuff with Mac because it's like harmful. Why would I? Then they will usually make threats about Mac or will center the conversation on Mac because they're realizing that nothing they're going to say is going to affect me. And that's been weird. Like, I don't know how to articulate what that reflects, but the fact that men are happy to hurt women to hurt men or to make themselves feel more powerful or
power and dominance.
Yeah, there's something there that I have not really broken down that has always interested me is tokenization, or I don't know what it is. I feel like there is a live to be held on that topic.
Honestly, I don't think it's tokenization. What I think it is that they're just trying to find any vulnerability you have and
Exploit
their
it.
assumption, yeah, they're trying to, yeah, exactly, they're trying to find and exploit any vulnerability you have. And if they can't get to you, they'll get to something that's close to you, and they see that you and Mac host and you guys are friends, so they will actually go there because they would assume that would be the next.
I'm
That
gonna push back. In 2.5 years doing this, not a single person has ever messaged me and said I'm going to go after Ernesto or anyone close to Ernesto. Not once.
right,
And so
because
there
I'm not
is
vulnerable.
something
I'm not one of
gendered.
those vulnerabilities. I'm not one of
No,
those.
but that's my point. Is that they assume because Mac's a woman that she's going to be a vulnerability, and I can't figure out if it's because they view women as vulnerable or
Yes.
because they
Yes.
view men as protectors, and
No.
so they're trying to emasculate me by not being a protector.
I would argue it's both. It could be
Yeah, I
both,
think it
but
probably
for the
is.
most part, I would say the majority of it is going to come from that they see Mac as vulnerable, and then they see it as a vulnerable place for you. It's just vulnerability, and then so they're going to try again, just exploit it
But why wouldn't they view Ernesto as a vulnerability?
because
That's what.
Ernesto's a man, and they view men as like strong and dominant, so and women as the weak ones that
And,
are
and and
right.
that's exactly what I was getting at. So Ernesto, when you were saying they want to go for someone vulnerable, what I'm saying is their choice of target is reflective of their misogyny. So it's not simply they're looking for vulnerable. It's that by going after Mac, they're showing that they're misogynistic, and I think they're trying to emasculate me by showing that I'm not a real man because I'm not able to protect the women in my orbit. I
They
think is what it
also,
is.
well, no, I also think, no, the
Go
reason
ahead.
why they won't go for me is because it's kind of the whole, uh, how could I put it? If someone were to kidnap somebody, you're not going to kidnap somebody's niece, nephew, or cousin and use them if you can kidnap their child. Not to say that Mac is your child, but they're gonna go with this person that they think you are closest to. They don't think you're closest to me.
Right.
They don't
A
think you're
lot of
closest to Ken.
a lot of
They
men talk about you being close to me, though.
they don't think you're closest to me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, fair, maybe.
Well, also, I think that like the men who do all of that, the men who come up and make the like grape threats, blah blah blah, like the men can like come at the other men on the panel all day long and say, Irish, I'm gonna unalive you, Irish, I'm gonna beat you up, Irish, I'm gonna do this. But at the end of the day, like as far as I'm aware, you're not dead currently. You haven't been the victim
That's
of like
lovely.
an unaliving. You might have gotten beat up in the past, but I don't think that for you that's really like had any sort of like emotional attachment to it. And so like instead of doing all that, they'll just resort to like what they know is going to like trigger people, and they're going to use the fact that women get raped, you know, frequently here in America and all across the world, to be honest. And they're gonna, you know, use that because it's going to like stick more than anything else would. And then also like add on top of it that like they're also like attacking a woman, so that's like an added vulnerability to them. Because like again, like to me, like unaliving threats, okay, like anytime I get one of those, I'm like, okay, like is that supposed to scare me? Like I'm not really like sure what you meant by that. Like, because I've not been unalived. I don't have like a personal connection with that. So like it doesn't really elicit an emotional response. So I think that that's why like they instead go for grape threats.
Yeah, I mean, the way that people affect me, you know, the sort of order of operations I discussed, that's part of it. The other part of it is the thing that, I think, mentally hangs on me a lot is the fact that I'm painted regularly as a rapist, pedo, racist, transphobe, homophobe. That weighs on me badly. I don't, I don't like to talk about it because that validates them and that's what they'll double down on. But like that shit really weighs on me. So like if there's a mental burden of doing this, that's the mental burden for me. It's not like the shit that ops says to me. It's when they just start mischaracterizing things I'm saying and or try to paint me in a certain light. Whereas I think you don't really give a shit about that, Mac. I think you're like, whatever, who cares?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, Max Armor on that aspect is much stronger than yours when it comes
Yeah.
to how they come at you. If they, I mean, yeah, it could be equally, but yeah,
Delete
her
that
armor.
sticker. You're gonna get me fucking
Oh, I'm
canceled
sorry.
again.
Like it was like I'm not lying. There's a couple of times I have freakouts. You guys have seen me do freakouts on the live, but like I have freakouts off app as well. And like I freaked out when. Do you guys remember when I did that live on Midnight Luna Bell?
Yeah.
When I read how she talked about me, and then when I heard her message, when I heard her say, I've talked to you about how everyone feels about Irish and how everyone knows who Irish is. When you hear someone in a like private voicemail sharing that sort of description of you, that fucked with me big time. That really, really, really fucked with me big time. And it's shit like that that really just hurts.
Yeah. Well, because also like, I mean, you're a man. People are more likely to believe the like whatever allegations are thrown against you. I think if someone like tried to, people come up on the panel all the time and they're like, the opposition will say like Mac raped me in the comments, like whatever, to like try to go against the point. But then it'll be like people in communities will try to paint you as like whatever harmful predator that they try to paint you as. So other people on the left would be more inclined to like believe that just because you're a man, and that would be more likely of you than me because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
So
Eamon, I'm scrolling up. I realized I missed a message. Eamon said, quite seriously, can chat get some positive pointers on how to support lives from your perspectives? I think Mac and I would have to talk about it offline because I think some of the stuff we would say would sound selfish and small minded, to be honest with you. And I feel like I'd want to be careful with how it's phrased so that the feedback would be, I don't know, thoughtful and considerate, if that makes sense. So, Eamon, I appreciate you asking that question. But, I'll be honest, like, I don't know how other people feel about it, but, like, I feel kind of weird asking people to treat me a certain way, if that makes sense. So, like, that's also something I would want to talk to Mac about. Like, I don't, if Mac wants to say something, that's fine. But I would feel weird saying, hey, Chat, can you do this for me? I think the only thing I've ever communicated, to my knowledge, is after I do a live, recognize that I'm going to be, after I do a call out live, recognize that I'm going to be exhausted for the next few days and recognize I don't really want negative criticism in the first like 12 to 24 hours after that because the call out lives are exhausting. But like, I don't like asking people to treat me a certain way because I feel like that's sort of like muting people because like there's a lot of shit that I don't want people telling me that has been very helpful for people to tell me.
Well, I know one of the things that I have occasionally done in the server, at least, is remind people that if Irish isn't on, let him not be on. Let him, if he's not on, there's a reason for him not to be on. Because there have
You
been
mean
times,
on TikTok, you mean?
just no, even in the server,
Oh yeah, definitely.
there are certain times where I've reminded people that if he's not he's not there for a reason, and we've got to give him the space. He will come back when he decides to come back. We've got to give him space. There have been numerous times where people would like, "Where are you, Irish? Irish, this person, this person, that," and there's this person on, and you don't respond, and then you get multiple messages saying, "Irish, where are you? Where are you?" Um, we've got to give them the space. We've got to give people the space. If they're not there, they're not there for a reason.
I would say that they are just it's mentally exhausting, and I do say that if you're trying to DM me, if you message me and say, hey, reminder, I'm never going to get upset if I open that DM and it says, hey, reminder 20 times. I'll never get upset about that. I do get upset when people say, why aren't you paying attention? Why did you listen? Why did you open that DM and not my DM? And it's like right now, hang on.
700 something, right?
Yeah, I'm at 771 unread DMs, individual DMs, 771, and I have 20 plus now people who sent a request to friend me that I've not responded to yet. And it's stressful looking at that number. It keeps, for the past 6 months, I think I've not dipped below 350 at this point. And like for me, like I know Discord is like fun, but like for me, it's pure stress, or mostly stress. And information management to me is like I wish I could figure that out.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's easy for me. I can say hashtag no DMs because it's not easy for Irish. I joke with him about, oh yeah, you wish you could do that, and I'm sure he probably at certain times he's like, I wish I could, but there's a reason why he can't, and that's because he needs sometimes a direct connection or a direct line to somebody who has information for him.
yeah, but also it's like there's so many, like when I think about my career and the things that I did as a professional, and I was lucky that I never had to do anything that I didn't agree with, which I think is a blessing when you're working in a professional capacity, that you didn't have to like compromise your values. But I have to admit, like I feel like I've done more in the past 2.5 years by helping people off app do certain things. And so like I just would never, like I like geez, I don't want to say anything insensitive, but like I just realized that I failed someone recently, that they had reached out and it was a very bad situation. And I had not really had time to look at their fucking DMs. And now I'm realizing after the fact that I wasn't there for someone who I could have genuinely helped out. And that shit fucks me up big time. Like genuinely fucks me up big time. It's the missed opportunity or the missed requests for help where I know I can do something meaningful. That fucking weighs on me big time and stresses me out. But anyway,
Yeah.
Nebby, I mean, we kind of do. I mean, that's why Shubity was kind of given the server, was because she didn't like how I was not really engaged in the server. But, I can't really give access to my DMs because people message me really fucking sensitive stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you could have a social media manager because, one, like your DMs are either information about opposition on TikTok, other creators on TikTok, so like private info, or it's going to be personal info of people asking you for help. And then two, like everyday people aren't going to know how to like give out a help. So if they're responding to like messages regarding personal issues, they might respond to it and then say like some, I don't know, generated chat like Irish is going to get back to this as soon as he can, or some bullshit like that, right? But then you're never going to see it because it's going to look like you responded to it. So it's like it wouldn't work. So, and this is why I don't message you heavy things, or I try not to.
No, we still need to have that conversation. I have my priorities as well. And I think I've said that anytime you need my help, I will absolutely be there. Don't ever think because there's other people that I don't have like priorities. So don't do that, for goodness sake. I do think I need to
Wow.
set up. There are these goddamn things. I
Tickets?
wish I could purchase. Yeah, I wish I could pay someone who's a real person who makes real Discord servers, because there are ways of opening tickets. There's ways of collecting information. There's ways of people. So, like for example, like one of the things when we talk about feedback, Mac, is like one of the rules I would love to institute is you're not allowed to give feedback on the live. You're not allowed to give feedback in the server, but that there's these, I've seen these in other servers where you can open up an anonymous chat. It's really cool. So, for example, RBG in the server can open up an anonymous chat that gets directed to me and or whoever it is I want, and it says anonymous user wants to bring up this issue in the server, and then you engage with this anonymous user. You have no access to know who they are, and they get to share very freely with you, and they sit as sort of an open ticket, but they're fully anonymous. I think that would be amazing to add. I think there's another thing I saw where you can send out weekly survey kind of things to people in the server, and I kind of thought like that would be the best mechanism to get feedback on lives, because if people really have an issue with anything that happens on a live, if they don't remember it a few days later, it wasn't a real issue, in my opinion. And so getting feedback on
That's crazy.
weekly, well, it's fair because if people have thoughts in
No,
their
that
head,
is fair. That is fair because that is
yeah, you can have thoughts in your head, but if it doesn't weigh on you, then it's not worth like sharing with us. So I thought like having that sort of weekly thing where people give feedback and then like I could review it once a week. That would be helpful. And so there are things I've just struggled with the fact that we don't have like a real Discord expert who's done a lot of these things. And I noticed this like going into other servers, and there's so many like little simple things that would help a lot, such as anyone who joined Good Trouble's server, just even how his flow into entering his server. If I could do that, that would make me speed up people getting into the server by a large margin.
yeah. I think you just have to like look it up at that point. But
Yeah, I'll talk to Jen Dub. I'm sure she knows someone.
But yeah, because like the ticket thing would be nice because we kind of have like a loose rule of like, you know, like criticism not being put in like the whatever chats, but I don't think that that rule actually like ever is upheld. So we could do a little ticket thing and then it would be easier to manage. And then like, I mean, at that point if we had a ticket thing, like whoever's a mod in the Discord could just say to like the person, like if they do post like criticism in another chat and they're not supposed to because we decide to like make that rule set in stone, then they would have a valid like reason to be like, hey, you need to delete this and go put this in the ticket thing.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Because like right now, if we tell people delete your criticisms, like that's problematic because there's really nowhere else to like put it.
Well, I mean, whenever I
So
see, and that's the other problem is that we know if someone gives feedback in the server, some asshat could take a screenshot and then just try to weaponize that. So I don't feel safe for people to speak freely in the server, which is frustrating.
right. And maybe you could set up some sort of a ticket thing like regarding I don't know if you could set up maybe some sort of a ticket thing regarding like personal matters, and like that way you just get tickets in the server, and well, I guess they would have to be in the server, but maybe you could like make that automatic access to like anyone who joins, like they just automatically have access to the channel even if they're not like approved to be in the server, so that way it could like reduce your DMs down.
Yeah, I do want to make the Purgatory chat like a permanent thing and just have like anyone who wants to join the Purgatory chat so that people have a consolidated way of reaching out. I think that would help me a lot. Also, Eamon, I will say I'm very sorry for that mix-up yesterday. To be very clear, Eamon, I asked people, there's no way this is Eamon, right? And so I was pretty confident that that was not the case. So we saw someone who was sort of engaging in not helpful behavior, and we thought it was one of Eamon's alt accounts. So I asked him about it. Turned out it wasn't. And Eamon, I wanted you to know that like we also agreed that that was very not your type of behavior. So please don't take it personally that we were worried when we saw that.
Someone brought in a comment. Someone put it in live chat. I'm trying to scroll up to it to see if it's still there. Hold on.
Yeah, and Claire Bear, you keep on talking about an experience you had. If you'd like to join, please join and have a conversation. And if you're worried about having a conversation, I did specifically say I can promise you I'll make it a safe space. But I'm not. It's kind of difficult to track what you're
In
simply
the
sharing in
comments.
small nuggets in the comments. Yeah. So if you want to join, and I promise you that it won't be okay. So on this
She's
note,
here.
let me be super. Okay, Mac, Ken, everyone. I want to be super clear. No stabby.
Calling
Let's
out the
just
women
talk.
is crazy.
Yeah,
Well, do
because
you
Ernesto doesn't know stabby. Ken,
hold on? I was gonna ask
Ken, I have
something.
a
I was
note
gonna
from yesterday. Okay, you're stabby. Okay,
You
I have a
don't
wait.
need
note.
a
Matt,
note from yesterday.
I have a note from yesterday. I had to send it to you via DM. I'll let you know what it was.
Oh
Irish,
my gosh.
Irish.
It's
I
something
am
Can
I would have
we?
been canceled for, but wait, what,
you're
Mac?
you're gonna get canceled for it?
No, I would have gotten canceled for it, but what was that, Mac? I'll message
Well,
you it
so
now.
you said you wanted to create a safe space. So do you want to turn off the comments because?
Yeah, good idea. Great idea. Look at Mac. Mac actually working with me for once. Mac never does that. All right,
Well, I just know we have a lot of stabby people.
we
Can I just
do, and
check you
I
hear
need
me
to
okay? Because I'm on a
keep.
headset.
Yeah, I need to keep like monitoring that because I don't want us to be a stabby group. I understand why we're all stabby, but I do think it's not productive sometimes. Claire, what is it you'd like to share?
Can I just check you can hear me just because I'm on a headset, and if not,
Yeah,
I'll
we
come
can hear
off
you.
it.
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, and you don't need to switch the comments off. I'm not that much of a butt hurt over what happened.
Okay, so what is it? So is it more feedback you'd like to share, or a constructive
Well,
criticism, or a complaint, or what would
I
you like
guess
to
it's kind of twofold. So I first came across you when you did the live on Midnight Luna, whatever, and
say? Okay.
I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it and your critical thinking and the evidence, and I gave you an immediate follow. And then a few days later, I joined your live, and this very prompt was on your backdrop. And I don't know if you recall, but I put in the comments that it did ruin men's lives, and I was trying to explain why. Um, and I gave well, it ended up me trying to talk to you and then answer other people in the comments. And I think you made it clear that the specific example that I was referring to, which I think that's where we got, you know, misconstrued because I was answering somebody else and you thought I was being very specific. And no criticism to you, but you quite rightly went on with the rest of the show. But I then ended up engaging in the comments with trying um, to address where I was coming from in my stance. And this is the criticism that I had, and it's not a criticism directed at you. It's a little bit of feedback, perhaps, and it's something that I try to be mindful of when I host my lives. Is that I'm a men's mental health and father's right advocate. I make no qualms about that. That's the angle that I've chosen to go down. Um, However, it's automatically then assumed that I'm against women, I'm anti-women, and it's a crazy assumption that people make that because I support one cause, I mustn't support another. That always then leads to, and this is what I tend to find, is this hypocritical, misogynistic attack that I end up getting on lives that tend to be trying to out misogyny. So, and it comes from both men and women. When it's from the man, it's mainly from the host, but not yourself. And there are some of the hosts that do this, where I get belittled, I get insulted, I get called a pick me, a beg me. I get told that my doctorate, when they find out that I'm a doctor, I must have bought it because I'm not clever enough. And it's this hypocritical misogyny that really pees me off because you're sat there clearly just wanting to have a generally intellectual debate with somebody who has a slightly different viewpoint, and I just wanted to give you my viewpoint and angle, and thought, based upon what I'd seen of you, we could have a great back and forth. And it was really, really disheartening to find that in the comments, and I think maybe from some of your moderators as well, I got absolutely slaughtered in your comments. And again, it came across the going down the route of slurs, insults, attack against my intelligence,
Well,
my
you
looks,
weren't
my
called a
background,
slur.
etc.
You weren't called a
So
slur.
I was told that I was, first of all, a pick me and a beg me. That's what I always tend to
Yeah, a
get.
pick me, I wouldn't call that a slur, but a pick me and a big me? What was the other one?
A beg.
What's a beg? I don't.
BEG, a beg me. That you're begging for attention.
I think that may have been someone who's not in my lives ordinarily. That is more of an English term, and that's not something people in my comments would
Sure.
ordinarily say. But pick me, absolutely. I'm sure someone probably called you that. Okay, go on. And what else
Yeah.
were people saying that was problematic?
So then obviously they said they were quite trying to question where I had gotten my stats and data from, because I was coming up with, people were opposing it. So I said, no, based on these stats, I was being demanded to come up with the reference for it, which I was given. And bearing in mind, it took me 4 hours to be able to go through the data to come up with the stats. I was getting targeted with people clearly skim reading it, and saying that I was
You're
stupid.
saying
I
you
needed
shared
to
these
go.
stats in the comments with the sources and
No, I
people.
shared I
Oh,
shared the source of them. So it was the
okay.
Office of National Statistics, but it was the raw
For the UK.
data for the UK. Yeah, it was based on the UK, which is why when I realised that you were going down the US route, I did back off from trying to
And what were
discuss it
the
with you.
statistics on?
So it was on a site. So it's on the official site for the UK called the Office of National Statistics. This is what the government, policymakers, charities.
Yeah, no, no,
Um,
I'm familiar.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a very good source. But what was the point? Like,
So the
what was
point
the stat
was
you were using from there? Stats
that
regarding the percentage of people who do what?
the stats were regarding the percentage of, I think, don't quote me fully on it, but I think it was the percentage of um, DV cases, male versus female. And I was being argued that the DV cases for men were negligible. And I was saying not according to
Okay,
these
that's
current
incorrect.
statistics.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
In that is incorrect. But okay, go on.
Can
And then
I say something
pause
on
Well,
there,
this,
Mac,
sorry.
Greg?
Mac, I do want her to like finish her point
Okay.
first.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just finish. And I was trying to make some other points as well about the cases of the point I had wanted to make you about false allegations were about cases where there are false claims of DV or partner A, especially in family or cases in the UK, where this is the family court system isn't a criminal court, it's a civil court, and the burden of evidence against that particular thing is not required at the criminal level, but yet it's still used to separate fathers from their children. So the other stat I
Yep.
was trying to insert in there were the number of um, fathers that were not seeing their children currently as a result of um, false claims. The point I was trying to make, however, is that's really difficult data to tweeze out, because currently there are